people! Hello! It's Randy for Thunderhorse Descendant. I'm here today with project number 3 from the Bargain Bead Box March 2020. So I'm excited because we are going to be doing some patina painting today. As you know, patina painting is kind of like one of my favorite things to do. So I'm doing a little happy dance about it because I'm excited. I also wanted to throw in that since I have the paints out, I am going to go ahead and paint these 2 beads, which will be for the last project that we're going to do for the bracelet. But I am going to paint those today as well. So let's jump down to the mat and get our little painting party started. Okay, so what you can see here is that I have our component. I'm going to zoom in, but I just wanted to show you my stuff here. I've got our component, our bead caps for this necklace, and then these are the 2 for the other project. I have a paint palette, some paint brushes, a little smidge of water, and then I have my patina colors here. I'm going to use these. And then I do have the glaze out, and the glaze is for these guys here. What else do I got? I've got our beads ready to go for our necklace once everything has dried up. And I have a stencil which we are going to use to paint the beads with. So that's what I got going on. And I'm going to zoom you in a little smidge. Ooh. Okay, so I think we're pretty good. I'm trying to see in the camera. I think we're pretty good here. Let's just go a little more. Okay. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to prepare my items. So this is the pendant that we are going to paint. And I don't know if you guys can see, but on here there's like a little flower. It's not an indentation, but it's a flower. So I'm going to kind of just spiff that up a little bit. And I'm also going to do the bead caps because we're going to be using those as well today. So first things first, I don't know exactly what colors I'm going to be using. I have some pulled out here. And we got to shake, shake, shake our patina paints up. So the greens I have are Green Opal, Seafoam Green, and Emerald Green. So I'm going to start with those. Oop, I'm going to drop one on the floor. I'm going to start with these. I'm going to start with the Green Opal. And please keep in mind, you do need to shake your patina paints for a long time. I shook them prior to starting on this video. And I'm going to take a bristle brush and I'm going to put a little water. Now, when you put water in a patina paint, you're going to get more of like a whitewash effect. Okay, so that's what I'm going to start with, the background. I'm going to add a little water. I'm going to get the white, kind of like the whitewash effect with this Seafoam Green. So it's not going to be as intense as it would be. I'm going to go over the whole thing. So as you can see, I watered it down a lot, and that's okay. I kind of just want that to set into these little grooves here. So the next order of business, I'm going to get a little more paint. And you do not need much paint for this job. A little dab will do ya. So now I'm going to go in over the top. And this is not completely dry yet, but that's fine because we're just blending. And I'm just darkening it up a little smidge. Also, with this little bit of paint, I'm just going to tap onto my bead caps. I just want to give them a little smidge of the Seafoam Green. Oop, that one flipped over. And you can do as little or as much as you want here with this. So with patina paints, you want to wash your brush out right away and clean it off with a paper towel. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to stick that in there. And I'm going to show you what I got so far. So this is what I got. Okay. So it's kind of just making those pop out a little more. And that won't take much time to dry at all. So now I'm going to move on to the next color, because we're kind of working in layers. I'm going to get Seafoam Pearl. So this one has a pearly effect. And oh, this one is new. This one is new, so I gotta poke the hole a little bit here. There we go. A little dab will do ya. And now I'm going to go in with a softer brush, a smaller, softer brush with no water. And I'm going to put that on my brush. And hope you guys can see this. I'm just going to kind of go around the edge of the bird. I might have to get just a little more paint. Okay, so I'm just kind of making the bird stand out a little bit more. And you can add as much or as little as you'd want of this. You could get a little different color if you want, darker color. We do have this emerald, which I might use. And then again, I'm just going in and just kind of touching these bead caps. Not all of them, but some of them. With some of this excess paint. Over here. So now, I'm going to wash my brush off, and now I'm going to go into the darker green. The emerald. And I gotta get this guy going too. And I'm going to do a little bit of that. Now, we've washed this brush out, so it has water on it. You're probably not going to want to use the same brush for this, because when you add water, it gets, you know, more runny and less intense. So we want to bring this up here so we can see it. There we go. And on here you can see there's like some flowers and some little leaves, and I'm just kind of just going to be doing a slight brushing on the leaves. Now, my brush is a little bigger than, you know, this little tiny line, but that's okay. It's just supposed to make it pop out a little bit more. It's a flower, that's a leaf. And there we go. Alrighty. We're doing pretty good here. And now I'm going to switch into, I have a pink and a purple for the flowers. So I'm going to do the purple. The purple is opalite. Okay, and I'm just going in on those flowers a little bit. Oh, that's pretty good. This one maybe needs a little more. And so I am gonna go over them with a little touch of the pink for highlight. So I don't really need to, if you wanted to make one more deep purple, you could by going over it again, like this one, and making it stand out more. Okay. Now, the pink I'm going to use is Ruby, is the name of the pink. And I just want a little bit of pink because this is mostly a green necklace. Just a little smidge of pink. And again, I'm going to do this with a dry brush. And I'm kind of dusting it off before I go in on the pendant, because you don't want to put too much at one time. We can always do more. So I'm just going to kind of do a little pink on the edges. Kind of just hit it with a little bit of pink going around the flower, just to give it a little bit of dimension. There we go. Not too much with the pink. And then I'm not really concerned about going around the edge or anything, because we are, in fact, once this is completely dry, I am going to do a little filing on it, just kind of going over it and giving it back some of that red bronze effect. So we're just going to let that dry. These guys, I believe, are all good for right now. We do have a little bit of work to do on these guys right here. So for these guys, I'm going to get this little Velcro-y brush, And so these are for a completely different project, but the project colors are green, so, or they're more of like a bluish kind of green. So I got this aquamarine color, and I'm going to give that a whirl on here with a stencil. Maybe I gotta go in here. Yeah, because it kind of slides out. Well, this one gives it little lines on it, which is not horrible. Maybe you can see that. Ooh. So I gotta let that dry. So I'm gonna do this. So like as I'm working with the paint, I can tell it's getting more tacky, more drying as I'm using it, which is fine. So that one is kind of dry now. So I'm actually going to try to hold this and do like a side one, like this. And then when I remove it, that looks pretty cool. I mean, I'm just jazzing it up a little bit simply because I thought it was kind of plain. So I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. And I'm going to move back to this one. And I'm going to do kind of the same thing on this one. Now my paint, I'm getting a little dry, so I got to add a little more. So if you're wondering about my stencils or whatever, like you can use any stencil. This one I happen to get at the Dollar Tree. I use this in a lot of projects for patina paint because, I mean, they're $1. They're not that expensive. You can go ahead and toss them after you're done if you want to. But I've had some of these for a long time that I reuse, and I use them specifically for patina. I think that's helpful to have that going on. Looks cool. Let that one dry. So it's pretty dry. And I got one side on here I gotta do, which I think I'll use this one, this side. So I'm just kind of making these lines go different directions on different part of the bead. Ooh. And then if you drop it, oh no, that's pretty good. So like the tackier the paint is, the better off, more control I'm having, I would say, over where the paint goes and that type of thing. But I mean, it's still pretty like wide open situation. But in my opinion, I like those a lot better than they were before. Before they just seemed kind of blah-ish to me, and I was like, okay, we gotta do something with this. So we have done something. Once they get on the piece, I feel like they kind of look like they've been, like they're porcelain. So I'm gonna let them dry. I don't know if I'm gonna have to hit those. I assume I'm gonna have to hit them with the glaze, but that, for right now, I'm just gonna put these to the side because they're not even involved in this project. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to get my little file. So give me 1 second here. Alright, so I do have a vintage file, but for this particular situation I'm going to use this little like wire brush. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to give back some of that red bronze that we painted over, just by going on the edge and making it look like it's kind of, you know, vintagey, based on where the paint is. Alright guys, so I've got about 22 inches of Soft Flex Heavy. So this is the heavy beading wire. I'm going to use that because I'm using a lot of glass and stones. And what I'm going to do is, instead of starting this out at the end, I'm going to start it in the middle because I don't want to have to count all my beads. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my pendant. Okay, so here's my pendant. And then I do have these separated into separate little piles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with an Amazonite on each side, close to this jump ring. And the reason for that is because if I put a large glass there, it might hit into the pendant, and I don't really want that. So I'm going to go like that. And then the reason I'm doing this is because I have to cap. Like I said, I was going to cap all these glass. So I want to make sure I have enough caps, and I have enough of everything I need for each side before I get going into the next type of pattern. So that's what we're going to do. And you could go ahead and count all these out, but you know. This is all I'm doing. Easy peasy. So I think I will put these on until I run out of caps. And then once I run out of caps, which is usually a thing that happens, then I will just put them on regular, but I don't want to have to deal with when that's going to be. So I am really liking how this is turning out, though. I like my bird. I think jazzing it up a little bit was a good idea. And you could hit it with some glaze if you want. You don't have to, but you could. So, this is what we got going on. I think I'll put you guys in fast forward until I am on to the next step, because this is just repetitive doing it this way. And I'll meet you back when we move on to the next step. So right here you can see I ran out of bead caps and I still have beads left. So what I did is I only had 2, so I put them both on. I'm not going to cap the top. I'm just going to continue on my pattern. With no bead caps now. Whoops. for these last 4 beads. Okay, so that is it for the glass. So right here we have, when we knew this would be part of it, got about 14 inches. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put on these guys. I'm gonna split them up. Which gives us about 5 on each side. Okay, and then 5 over here. Okay, see, I would love for this to be enough length, but so that it's all, you know, cohesive, but I don't think that it is. And we're going to use a toggle. Yeah, because see right here we got about 16 inches. And with the toggle, that's still not enough. So we are going to continue using these little guys, which is what we talked about when we made the plan for this video. And we're just going to stick these at the top. So we got 5 for each side. We might not even need that many. Try 3. Now we're up to 18, plus we'll have the toggle. So I think that's pretty good. If you want to do longer, you could probably get away with doing 4 at the top here. But I'm just going to leave these 4 beads out. Maybe we make some earrings with them or something. And all I'm going to do to finish this is I've got some tubes. And I'm going to finish this. I am going to put jump rings on. You don't have to put jump rings. You could connect directly to the toggle if you want to. I just generally, because I do a lot of changing of my jewelry, or sometimes I sell it, somebody wants a bigger size, they want a different hook on it. A lot of times I just connect the jump ring, cold connection as they say, just so I can mess around with it later. So I'm going to put a clip on here so nothing comes flying off the end, because I don't have a lot of tail space. And all I'm going to do is crimp this, and the other side as well. And up to the jump ring, I mean, it can be pretty tight. It doesn't have to be super tight, but it can be pretty tight. I'm going to come in with my crimping plier. Make sure nothing is twisted. And then I'm going to hit it on the first notch and spin. Lay it in the second notch sideways and squish. And we have a crimp. Pull test looks good. And I'm going to go ahead and slide this bead over the top of the little tail. Okay, so I'm going to do the other side the exact same way. Put the toggle on and I'll be right back.